Hello everybody, how's it going? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to my kitchen, my quarantine kitchen. Got a lot of exciting stuff to really talk about today. Hello Finesse, you're the first one to join me today. Once I get some more people in the, what's up Sam, how are you? Once I get some more people in the group, we'll kind of like start talking about different things we got going on, going over the recipe, and really about talking about what we're going to do moving forward. How's everybody doing with the quarantine? I'm on day 38, I think it is right now. And, you know, every day is a different one. Some days I struggle. Some days I eat my way through the day. Some days I cook. Some days I don't. So I don't know if you guys noticed in the description down below. Abel, how are you today? I don't know if you guys noticed in the description down below. Angela, what up? Yes, Vanessa, I know you're here every week. I'm gonna do, hey Anthea, how are you? I'm actually gonna do a vegetarian slash vegan dish soon. I haven't really figured out what I want it to be, but I definitely will be incorporating that into the mix. I honestly gotten a lot of responses about what people want to see, what people don't want to see, that kind of stuff. So I'll definitely be, you know, taking in consideration what everybody's saying, especially since, you know, you all are the ones that are the reason why I'm doing this every week. So I don't know if you saw down in the caption below, but Tawana, how's it going? I don't know if you guys saw down in the caption below, but today we're going to be making a beef meatball stroganoff. Typically this dish is going to be made, you know, a lot of people use ground beef, a lot of people use, you know, beef tips, that kind of stuff. I personally like the meatballs aesthetically for like plating, that kind of stuff. It just looks a little bit better. And I kind of wanted to throw a rendition of my meatball recipe out there. Other than that, in the caption, this week's quarantine meal is actually sponsored by Brian Fox. What's up, cousin Vicky? Jennifer, how are you? This week's quarantine meal is actually sponsored by Brian Fox. He owns Level Up Home Inspections out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So if you guys are, you know, looking to purchase a home, you can call me because I can make that happen too. But if you're looking to purchase a home or just kind of need an inspection to figure out how things are going with your house, Brian Fox is the guy that you need to talk to. He's super thorough, really, really great, super nice guy. Thank you, Vanessa. You know I love a good old velvet situation. Honestly, I went back and forth between 3 velvet shirts tonight, but this is what I landed on. Benji, how's it going? Desiree, how are you? Cousin Irk, what up? Okay, so to kind of run down through the ingredients, what you're gonna need tonight, honestly, these things that I've been doing lately are super simple, really approachable meals, only because I don't want people to making multiple trips to the store or feeling inconvenienced to try to like recreate this and going 3-4 times because they're running out of stuff. So yeah, all these recipes I'm going to be doing, you know, through the quarantine, that kind of stuff, are going to be really approachable, really easy. And then afterwards, what I will be doing is mixing it up a little bit and, you know, getting creative in the kitchen. So for starters, we got 1 pound, a 16-ounce pack of egg noodles. With this dish, if you don't want to do egg noodles, you don't have to. That's just kind of the traditional side that you can put with it. Some healthy different ways that you can kind of switch it up. You can put it over rice cauliflower. You can put it with quinoa. And then one of the other ingredients, I'll show you what you can substitute too. So we got our 2 pounds of ground beef. In this bowl, I went ahead and put all my spices in the bowl. So you have a tablespoon of onion powder, garlic powder, paprika. I actually, on the post that I made about this recipe, I put a tablespoon of cayenne. I only put a half a tablespoon. Some people like spice, some people don't. So I only put a half a tablespoon of cayenne. And then I also added salt and pepper, which wasn't on the thing, but that's kind of a given. As far as the salt and pepper, we did a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper as well. Louise, how are you today? So for the breadcrumbs, you got, and that's just blurred out, you really can't see it, but this is half a cup of panko breadcrumbs. Panko breadcrumbs are going to be a little bit more of a coarse ground. Lloyd, how's it going? Panko breadcrumbs are going to be a little bit more of a coarse breadcrumb. They're really good for frying. They give a great texture on like fried shrimp, those kinds of things. So a half cup of breadcrumbs. We have a Sarah Powers, what's up? Landon, how are you? We have a half cup of sour cream. Now rolling back to what I was saying earlier, if you wanted to make this dish a little bit healthier, you can substitute the sour cream for Greek yogurt. You can substitute the noodles for rice, cauliflower, or quinoa. As far as like the cream and mushroom, that's kind of a staple, so you really can't, I mean, there's ways around it, but for the actual like effect of like the taste and everything, just go ahead and use cream and mushroom. All right, we got 1 pint of button mushrooms, we got half a bell pepper, half of an onion, yellow onion, and then a couple sprigs of thyme right here. So I went ahead and got my water preheated so that way we don't have to wait on it to boil. But what I'm gonna start with first is the meatballs. So this little trick that I use for my meatballs is the same thing that I do for my meatloaf as well. When I'm making meatloaf or meatballs, what I do is I take my bell peppers, my onions, and my garlic, which I'm gonna grab my garlic. And for the recipe, it did say 4 cloves of garlic. But what I do is I take my bell peppers, my onions, and my garlic, and just kind of roughly chop them and add them to the blender. The reason why I'm gonna blend these is because it's gonna add moisture to the actual dish, to the meatballs, and then also it's gonna kind of evenly distribute all those flavors. Sade Scott, how that cheese plate treating you? No, but it's gonna evenly distribute all the flavors. Sarah Powers, I do believe you're in the room. But yeah, again, we're gonna blend this because it evenly distributes all the flavors into your meatball or your meatloaf or whatever you're doing. I don't know if you guys have ever dined at somebody's house or had a meatloaf and it's got those chunks of like, Mr. Joseph, how's it going? Happy birthday to you. Everybody in the room say happy birthday to Mr. Joseph. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever went somewhere, ordered meatloaf, or your grandma makes meatloaf, and there's always like chunks of bell peppers and onions and stuff in it. I personally don't like that texture of my meatloaf. I get it, it's there for a reason, for the flavor. But personally, I like to go ahead and blend mine, and like I said, it's just gonna add moisture to your meatloaf or your meatballs, whatever you're making, and then it's also gonna evenly distribute those flavors so that it doesn't give like, the meatloaf a certain texture in certain spots where you get a big hunk of green pepper or a big piece of onion. All right, so let's go ahead. We're gonna add like a little water to this just to get this started. You guys don't talk about my blender either. This is not a Cuisinart. This is an old school. This is an old school blender that I got from my mother. This old school blender I got from my mom, it's probably Alex Mayfield. You didn't forget, you made it. Jennifer Quartermont, I see you. But again, yeah, this is an old school blender I got from my mom. Honestly, it's been kicking it for probably 20 years. I would have to assume it was tucked away in a random box in her garage, actually. All right, so I just took that blended up mixture. Again, that's your bell peppers, your onions, and your garlic. I took that blended up mixture and added it to the meat, the 2 pounds of ground beef. We're gonna add our panko breadcrumbs and then the seasoning mix that we already pre-mixed up. We're gonna add that to the bowl as well. And then what I'm gonna do, look at there, so I can talk to the people. Now I can't see your names, but I can talk and like prep and make meatballs and look at the camera. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, again, we never cook anything on high heat. With this, we're gonna put it on about medium to medium high. We're gonna put a little olive oil in the pan. I am using lean ground beef. When I do cook with beef, I try to use the leanest meat possible, just for, health reasons. We're gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the pot there that we're gonna boil our noodles in, as well as some salt. You always wanna season your water that you boil your pasta in, just to give it a little flavor. So let's go ahead and we'll give this a good mix. Oh, you know what? I forgot my 2 eggs. Last week I forgot the Worcestershire, so this week I told myself, Christopher, make sure you got it together. You ain't forgetting nothing, okay? All right, so we're gonna do 2 eggs. And with this meatloaf, I mean, these meatballs, you just kind of got to get in there, get nasty, roll up the sleeves, mix it up with your fingers. There's really no pretty way to do it. So again, to the bowl, if you're just joining in, you guys, I have my 2 pounds of ground beef. I have my spice mixture with the salt, pepper, cayenne, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. I have my panko breadcrumbs. I have my 2 eggs. And then with the bell peppers and onions, what I did, and the garlic, the 4 cloves of garlic, I took it and blended it up. Again, that's just gonna add more moisture to your meatballs. You can utilize that trick when making meatloaf. It's also gonna evenly distribute those flavors instead of just having like a clump of bell pepper in one spot, you know, and your diced onions in one spot as well. All right, now that we got that good and mixed up, we're gonna go ahead and start making our meatballs. Let's grab a plate while we're waiting on this to heat up. So again, on the caption too, today's meal is gonna be sponsored by Brian Fox of Level Up Home Inspections. So what I need you guys to do while you're listening to me cook and make this dish, or even afterwards, what I need you to do is like and share the video. Once you like and share the video, I'm gonna keep a running list of who all did so. And at the end, after 24 hours of me ending this live video, I am going to put everybody's name in a hat, and I'm going to either Venmo or Cash App you guys the total cost of this meal. So cost of this meal is right at 30 bucks. This will probably feed 4 to 5 people easily. It's a very hearty, stick to your ribs kind of meal. The only thing that you may need a little more of for 5 or more people is the egg noodles, but definitely 4 people easy. So again, this is sponsored by Brian Fox. Thank you so much. Level Up Home Inspections. All right. Also, too, I have a running list of like things that people want me to cook or like want me to make, that kind of thing. So feel free to keep those suggestions and requests coming, because I'm definitely keeping it in mind when going through my kitchen, my cupboards. I'm like, oh, I actually do have the stuff to make, chicken cordon bleu. I've gotten that like 3 times, surprisingly. Also, you guys, my YouTube has fully been updated with all of the cooking videos that I've done over the last couple weeks. So the brunch hash is on there. The chicken piccata's on there. Make sure you go over, like and subscribe there, and take a look. If you have already seen it and you want to share these videos with a friend, feel free. It is greatly appreciated. All right, so let's test this. All right, looking good. So funny thing that I like to do sometimes and I'm not going to do it now for the sake of me executing these meatballs and getting things made. Something that I like to do sometimes is take my meatball or my meatloaf mixture, and I'll just make like a very small like patty and fry it in a pan just to ensure that like seasoning is right. Because if you throw your meatloaf in the pan and baked it already, then there's really no way that you can test it and see if it needs some extra salt or extra pepper or anything like that. All right. So each and every Thursday, you guys, 7 o'clock, I'll be doing these videos. I really appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the people commenting and, coming to the room and saying, hey, commenting on the shirts. I got to keep it festive, always. Yeah. I guess I could have waited to start my boiling water, but you know what, we're going to go with it. Honestly, this should make about 25 or so 3-ounce meatballs, 2 to 3 ounce meatballs. So like I said, this is a really, really easy, simple, hearty dish that's going to, feed a lot of people. All right, this skillet is getting full. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna work with what we have in the skillet for now, and then the rest of this, once we are done and I'm done charming you guys, I'll fry these up later. Let me wash my hands. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna slide this out the way so that way we can get back over to our stove. Again, never cook on high heat. Always like medium to medium high heat. High heat is just you're essentially gonna burn stuff. Moment, how's it going? Toya, how are you? I'm sure I got some cousins in here that I missed. Shay, what's up? Tiffany, how are you? You're always asking good questions, so keep them coming. Danielle, how's it going? Come on, cooking TV table. Sade, you know what? I'm gonna get me a rolling butcher block, just so it's a little more tasteful. You know, I gotta keep it classy. All right, so you don't really want to disturb these meatballs all that much. Let them go ahead and get a good sear, get some good color on them before you start rolling them around and really trying to ensure that all sides of them are cooked. What you can do if you would like, you can sear them off and then finish them in the oven. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead and do them over the stove top. So again, just to kind of recap for the people that are just joining and roll back on what we've already done. In our meatball mixture, so it's the 2 pounds of ground beef, you got cayenne, you got paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, your eggs, your breadcrumbs, and then you have your half of an onion, as well as your half of a bell pepper and your 4 cloves of garlic. Now, with that being said, what I did do is take, since you did probably miss it if you're just joining, I took the bell pepper, the onion, and the garlic, and actually blended it. What's up, Cousin Vicky? Danielle, how are you? I took the bell pepper, the onion, and the garlic and blended it, so that way it's going to evenly distribute the flavors throughout the meatballs, as well as it's going to add moisture to your meatballs and they won't be dry. Kim, how's it going? Aubrey, how's it going? If you all are in need, once outside is open back up, not right now, but if you guys are in need of a great hairstylist, you need to get your hair colored, them roots are looking a little tragic, Miss Aubrey is a fantastic hairstylist. She is in the chat room, so say hello to Aubrey. Aubrey, say hello to the people. Yes, I've known Aubrey for a very long time, and she is really fantastic at what she does, guys. Okay, so I'm just going ahead and giving these a good flip. If you're making this mixture and you feel like it's a little wet, like it needs to be a little bit drier to hold everything together, feel free to add a little extra breadcrumbs to the mix. It's never going to hurt anything. It's just going to act more so as a binder. The reason why I have not started the egg noodles is because that particular pasta in itself only takes a couple minutes to cook from start to finish. So I really want to keep an eye on that. You know, and the people on TV always say, and I'm pretty sure I've said it over the last couple weeks, oh my God, it smells so good. I wish you could smell it. Honestly, it really does smell good. Again, I use lean ground beef. You can substitute ground chicken or ground turkey if you would like for this recipe, if you're not a beef eater. The only thing I would suggest for ground chicken, ground turkey, I would definitely add a full cup of the panko breadcrumbs to start and see how loose the mixture is before you cook it, just to hold it together. Ground turkey doesn't have a lot of fat, so it doesn't have a lot, coagulation when it comes to like cooking them like even meatballs or meatloaf or whatever. All right. So again, you guys, I've mentioned it already, but please make sure that you like and share this video. Once you like and share, 24 hours after I end this live, this week, Cousin Jan, how are you? Josh, what's going on? 24 hours after I end this live, I'm going to put everybody's name into a hat that shared the video, and I'm going to pull names, and you're going to get either Venmo, Cash App, or if you don't have either one of those apps, I can do Zelle as well. You're going to be sent across the cost for this full meal. This will keep about 45 people, and it is a $30 drawing. So, I mean, everybody's sitting at home. Some people making money, some people not. So why not, share the video. It costs you nothing. And that way, Chauncey, how's it going? Maurice, what's up? Yeah, so share the video and potentially get a free meal out of this. And the reason why this is something that I'm doing is because Level Brian Fox over at Level Up Home Inspections has sponsored the video this week. Alright, so I'm just going to grab another plate. You know what? I'm a crazy person. We're going to keep it matching. We're going to grab the nice plates. I don't need y'all seeing my everyday sandwich plates used. I did turn the heat up just a little bit because I feel like it was, wasn't simmering the way I wanted to. We probably got about another minute or two in the pan with these meatballs. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and take my mushrooms, cut the rest of those up, and just add them straight to the pan. I'm not going to get a clean pan. I want to get all those like brown bits off the bottom of the pan at the end of the day. That's just a really, really good flavor for your dish. Maylee, how's it going? Hope you're doing all right in Dallas. Thank you for tuning in. Again, you guys, all these videos that I've been doing on live every week, you can catch them on my YouTube, Chris McGee. Super easy to find. Very, very simple. Not hard at all. Honestly, these meatballs look really, really good. And like I said, adding that puree of the bell pepper and the onion, everything to it, really, really ensures that you're going to have like a moist meatball. There's that word that everybody hates, moist. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to dump our egg noodles in. I can do two things at once. It's not that big of a deal. We're going to dump them in. And like I said, with the egg noodles, it takes just a couple of minutes for those to actually cook up. So make sure you keep an eye on them. I actually went ahead of time and put my strainer over here in the sink. So that way, when I do need to strain it off, we're good to go. To my pasta water, I did add some olive oil as well as some salt to it, just to give it some flavor. Jennifer Fields, how are you? I'm FaceTiming you after this. We need to talk. Karen, how's it going? All right, Miss Kimberly Stacker-Horn. What's up? Honestly, these meals too that I'm making, you guys, are going to be 1 or 2 pots. I know everybody is like tired of making dinner, tired of washing dishes. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible during this whole shelter-in-place order. Only because, you know, it gets a little monotonous standing in front of the stove. I'm not gonna lie. I love to cook. I love like making new stuff, coming up with new recipes. But when I tell you I'm tired of washing dishes, I was tired. Okay. So meatballs are done. I'm gonna go ahead and take these out of the pan. The meatballs too don't have to be all the way done. You can get them about 70% there, because what I'm going to do once I chop up the mushrooms, make the sauce and everything, I'm just going to add them back to the pot and let them simmer in the sauce. All right. You know, I don't know. My roommate better come in hungry because we got a lot of meatballs to eat. All right, so let me go ahead and slide this old table over here again, so I can face everybody and chop up some mushrooms. We do have the majority of them already chopped up. Oh, here's my knife. We do have the majority of them already chopped up, but I'm going to go ahead and chop up the rest. For the ones that I pre-chopped, and mise en place is what we call that. Just pretty much getting all your ingredients and everything together. I went ahead and did a mise en place on those. So let's go ahead and chop up the rest of these. With mushrooms, when I chop them, I like to chop them to where when you do slice them, they still hold the shape of the actual mushroom. So visually, you know, they're just a little bit more appealing to your dish. Again, make sure you like, share this video. When you do like and share this video, you'll be entered into a drawing for $30, which is going to cover the full cost of this meal. The reason I'm doing that this week is because this quarantine meal was sponsored by Brian Fox over at Double Up Home Inspections out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All right, so we got our mushrooms to the pot. I turn this back down to medium. Again, I'm not going to add any extra oil. You know what? I add a little bit because we didn't have a lot of fat, because I did use lean ground beef. We'll probably add like 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just enough to get them going and sauteing. Yeah, I know a lot of people really like beef stroganoff. I typically make it with meatballs just because I like visually what it does with the meatballs. There's no right or wrong. You can do it with like a beef tip, if you will. The only thing about beef tips, you will need to let it simmer for a little bit longer. So for this purpose, I just went ahead and did it with the meatballs, so that way you can kind of see the final product. So let's go ahead, check my noodles. With any pasta, you want to make sure that they're al dente. The term al dente essentially means with a bite. You don't want them to be too mushy. You want them to still have some texture to them. We're not quite there yet. I don't know what's up with these mushrooms today, but you know what? They soaked up all of the olive oil in there, so we'll put a smidge more. Honestly, guys, this recipe is super easy. This is something that you could throw together from start to finish within about 30 minutes. Also, too, if you want to do this and not do the meatballs and make it a little bit quicker process, you can just take the ground beef and do ground beef and do it like you would do for a meat sauce or something like that. There we go. Again, please make sure y'all are still emailing me, texting me, DMing me, you know, different ideas, different things that you want me to do. Y'all see that? I grabbed that noodle right out the pot. Yes, it's hot. Before you ask, I got them hands from my grandmother. I swear she used to boil her dishwater and go right in. I'm like, I don't know how you do that, but I can respect it. Also, we're just having water today. We're keeping it classy. Mushrooms are looking really, really great. I don't want them to wilt down too much. I just want them to kind of soften up a little bit, get a little bit of color. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me turn up to the camera. I don't know if you guys can see, but they still have some texture and some shape to them, and that's exactly where I want them. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and add the can of cream of mushroom. You know what? Let's get that with a spoon. So I'm going to add the can of cream of mushroom, and then we're going to add the beef stock to this as well. Always, always, always rinse out your cans, you guys. This has a lot of residual ingredients left in it, or, you know, cream of mushroom or whatever kind of soup. You know, even when I use like rotel tomatoes for making cheese dip or something, I always wash those cans out with pasta sauce. Get every little bit. I mean, you did pay for it. We're going to go ahead and add the sour cream to the mix. Again, if you didn't get the rundown of the ingredients for when I started, feel free to go to my Facebook wall and snatch those up, and that's where you can get the recipe tonight. I'm going to go ahead and drain these noodles. You guys talk amongst yourself. There's about 40 plus people in here. Say hi, make a friend, make a quarantine buddy. So yeah, we're going to drain off the noodles really quick. I did boil these with a little bit of olive oil and salt. You always want to boil your pasta with oil and some sort of flavoring. Like, because these are egg noodles and they're only going to take a few minutes, I didn't add chicken broth, but like when I'm doing spaghetti or anything like that, I always try to use some sort of like hearty broth to boil my pasta in. It just really does add another level of flavor to the dish. I don't know where my spoon hole is, so we're going to be tacking. We're going to set that right on the stove. I cleaned and sanitized everything today. Even though I ain't got no Lysol wipes, we got that good old Fabuloso up in this house. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball this. In the recipe, I said about 2.5 cups of the beef broth. This is essentially just kind of break down the cream of mushroom soup. Because the cream of mushroom is in a condensed form, so you want to break it up a little bit. With the cream of mushroom soup, it should have enough salt content as well as your beef stock, unless you do a low sodium kind of situation. I personally have expressed how in the last couple weeks I'm trying to steer clear of sodium, so I'm not going to add any extra salt. What I am going to add to this is a little bit of fresh ground pepper. If I had to guess about how much I'm putting in here, I would say a teaspoon. Sounds like a lot because it's fresh ground, but it really isn't all that much. So, all right, we got everything in the pot for our sauce. This is the sour cream, your cream of mushroom soup, your sliced mushrooms that were sauteed just a little bit, just to soften them up. We did not cook them to break them down completely. We just want to soften them up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is take my thyme. Now with the thyme, I'm going to do about 5 or 6 sprigs, and you just want to pull these little leaves off. If you want to, you can actually take the whole thing, stem and all, and throw it in the pot and let it simmer that way. But because I'm not going to let it simmer, and I'm going to plate this up here in a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and pull all the little leaves off initially. But yeah, when you're doing anything with like fresh thyme or fresh basil, making a tomato sauce, feel free to throw those stems in there. Those stems have flavor. Just make sure that pull them out before you have your dinner party, because you don't need people judging. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Each and every Thursday, we're going to be doing these cooking segments. I haven't figured out what we're going to do next week. I've been brainstorming. I think I'm going to do like some little party appetizers, just kind of keep it light, maybe do 2 or 3 different little things for, you know, the nights you don't want to cook. Saturday night, you want to have, you know, dinner night with the kids and your babe. That way you can just kind of like throw some snacks together without messing up the entire kitchen and standing over the stove for hours. Other than that, last time I'm gonna say this, because if you missed it, that means you're late to the party. Like and share this video. This week we were sponsored by Brian Fox out of Level Up Home Inspections in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He donated the full cost of this meal. So when you like and share, I'm going to add your name to the pot. And this, not this pot, but I'm going to add your name to the pot. And 24 hours after this live ends, I'm going to pick a name. I'm going to Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle you the payment. This is something quick and easy, and it will feed, you know, 4 to 5 people easily. All right, we got all the ingredients in there. We got the mushrooms, the cream of mushroom soup, the fresh thyme. You got a little fresh ground pepper. You got sour cream, your beef broth. The longer you let this simmer, the more it will thicken up. I personally like it a little loose as far as the consistency. But if you want to let it simmer a little bit longer, that way it gets a little thicker, by all means feel free. All right. Guys, this is looking real good. Let's go ahead and get this out the way. Here in a minute, we're gonna need this. I'm gonna use this spoon with a little bit of residual sour cream on it, because why not? Always, always, always taste your food. Typically when I'm cooking, by the time I get done making a meal, I do not even want it. I would prefer to have a pizza takeout or something, only because I've looked at it, I've tasted it, I've tried it, just to ensure we got a good flavor going on. All right. All right, let's give it a good texture. Honestly, that's fire. That's real, real good, you guys. All right. So if you want to, you can serve this in a bowl. You can serve it in a plate, however you would like. I'm going to do it in a plate that does have edges, so that way it doesn't run everywhere. We're going to let it simmer just a few more minutes. While I am waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and grab some fresh parsley out of the fridge, just so I can chop that up and use it as a garnish. This is just flat leaf Italian parsley. You can use curly. It's not for flavor or for anything. It's strictly for aesthetics. So I just grab like a little bunch, give it a good rinse, make sure you're washing all your produce, everything right now, double time, even more so than what you typically would. Some fun facts about different like parsley and basil and that kind of stuff. Whenever you buy fresh herbs, you guys, and you always feel like it goes bad before you can use it, take a wet paper towel and wrap your herbs in a wet paper towel and put them in a Ziploc bag. I promise you they're gonna keep at least, you know, a week and a half longer, just because they're not getting exposed to the air, and then they also have that extra locked in moisture to kind of keep them green and keep them fresh. Come on, Karen, you can pick up these leftovers. I do have some fun stuff coming up. You know, I am in the upcoming weeks gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do a giveaway for a $20 Visa gift card, and then also in the upcoming weeks I am going to be cooking a meal. I'll probably end up doing, it was one of the requests I got from a family member today, doing a chicken Alfredo lasagna. And for me to execute that, and for you guys to actually see the whole process, I'm gonna have to make one prior and then make one on camera. So what I'm gonna do with that extra chicken Alfredo lasagna is I'm gonna, you know, same thing. Like and share the video, enter in to the drawing. Next day, I'm gonna pick a person, I'm gonna drop it off. Of course, you have to be in the Austin area, so that means Round Rock, Pflugerville, Argo Kyle, Buda, but we ain't trying to go to, sorry, I love my DFW people, I love my Virginia Beach people, but you know, I'm not trying to go to Jerusalem back with a pan of chicken Alfredo lasagna. All right, guys, this is looking really, really good. Again, I didn't make all the meatballs. on camera only because I wanted to go ahead and get through this process, and before you guys get tired of me talking at the camera, go ahead and show you a finished product. So let's scoop up a little bit of the egg noodles. And something that I didn't do that I should have is put a little more olive oil on the noodles after they got done cooking, and I strained out the water, only because you don't want them to stick together. With pasta or with anything too, you have what you call carryover cooking. Because I'm gonna go ahead and serve this now and eat some of it now, I didn't shock it, but with your pasta, go ahead and have a little ice bath ready for it. So when you're done with your spaghetti or whatever it is, you have an ice bath, you shock that pasta, and it immediately stops the cooking process. So that way you don't end up with overcooked pasta. Let me get the correct utensil that I need for scooping up some of this sauce. And yes, that was me reaching into my dishwasher because I was not prepared. Every spoon that I have on my little thing over there is slotted. All right, you guys. So I also have been asking for different names. What should I name this cooking segment? Finally came up with something. I actually really like it, and we're gonna roll with it. It is going to be called Taste of a Texan. So once we get done with this whole quarantine situation, we will leave that in the past, because the past is the past. We're going to be calling this Taste of a Texan. So you can find it on my YouTube already. My name, Chris McGee, and then Taste of a Texan, or one or the other. You don't have to use both. All right, so let's go ahead and turn it off. We're going to go ahead and garnish this with a little bit of our fresh chopped parsley. All right, you guys, let's see here. I'm gonna turn this light down because I feel like it just blurs everything out. Boom, there you go. Beef stroganoff, egg noodles, a little bit of fresh parsley to garnish. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you all next Thursday. Remember to like and share to get entered into the drawing, so that way you can potentially win the cost of this meal and recreate it at home. Let's give it a bite before we get out of here. Oh, that meatball looks bomb. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is good. So, one more thing. If the inner fat kid in you wants to like zhuzh it up a little bit more, put some fresh grated Parmesan on top of here, forget about it. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I'll see y'all next Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like and share. Go to my YouTube, like and share. All the things. Do it. Thank y'all.